welcome to the Heights Unedited Podcast, a podcast featuring real conversation about real life, where we dig deeper into the weekend message as well as answering your questions on faith, culture, and life. And I'm back in the saddle.
The baby bald eagle is back. The baby bald eagle.
I did listen to last week's episode to know what you were talking about right now. Baby bald eagle is back. So I have flown back into the nest. Very grateful for you guys filling in for me last week.
Yeah, that's fun, man.
The show must go on, and it went on.
Here we are.
Good job.
You're back, and
I'm back in the nest.
We're rolling again about faith, culture, and life.
We're rolling. How's your culture and life going?
That's good.
I'm assuming your faith is good too.
So I think my faith is good. I mean, we'll see. But so I did something that I've never done in my whole life this weekend.
Okay.
I went to an official fishing tournament.
Wow.
So I was.
Were you fishing in the tournament?
I'm officially. I want you to know, I am officially a member of the Rooster Tail Club.
I don't know what that means.
It is the oldest fishing club in Arizona.
That's amazing.
And
were you fishing in this tournament?
Oh yeah.
How'd you do?
So let me tell you how it went first, because we left my house at I think 4:30 on Friday morning. 3-hour drive to the lake.
Okay.
And you want to get on the lake because that's practice day. So we're on the lake Roosevelt.
A lot of practice needed.
Dude, I need a lot of practice. First day, I didn't catch a fish the whole day.
During practice?
The whole day. So we're on there like.
Is that like a wide receiver not catching a pass?
It's probably more like a quarterback that can't make a throw. You know what I mean? Like, so me and Jesus talked a lot, right? Like, and come to find out, there was a reason. So Lake Roosevelt, the fishing's always good there. Like my brother-in-law was like, "Oh, you're gonna catch fish? It's easy." We get there. He only caught one Friday.
Okay.
So now both of us started talking to the other teams who had also been down to practice. And one of those teams is like leading the whole thing. And they're like, we've been down here 2 days. We caught one fish each day. So we kind of find out they've changed the lake height, right? Gotcha. Like, so they've lowered it twice in the last week. Well, the fish are bedding and spawning right now. And so they're all freaked out and like, so they're just not biting. They're not in their normal rhythm and whatever.
So there was a reason.
So going into tournament day, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. And now, so we go into tournament day and I was super thankful. My brother-in-law caught, I think 9 fish. And so you keep the top 5.
Okay.
I caught 2.
Okay.
But neither of mine were heavy enough. They were both qualified in length, but neither were heavy enough to like bump his out. So essentially he caught all 5. We finished 6th in the tournament. Which turned out to be a really, really hard tournament day. But
okay.
So I went to a fishing tournament. We were up at I got up at 3:30 a.m. on Saturday morning.
That's
because
crazy.
We had to be on the lake by 4:40 a.m.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, who are these people? Like, what is this? So yeah, a whole thing.
Check that off the bucket list.
Thing.
An item on the bucket list you didn't even know should be there.
That was super fun.
That's cool.
It was a lot of fun.
That's pretty awesome. I'm glad you
got to see the sunrise.
Glad you got
to catch fish. There was one point where I'm like, Lord, I just need something. Like I can't go home both days skunked. Like that's probably the worst.
Yeah.
So
I know. Well, I was in San Diego this last few days and my family was with me and my kids were like, Dad, you lied. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, you say it's 75 and sunny in San Diego all the time. I was like, what is it right now? They're like, it's not 75. It was 71. I was like, you guys need to chill. Okay. It is like, look around. It's paradise. Okay.
They're like, Dad, it's freezing here.
Yeah. It was fun. We went to the beach, walked around, kids collected a lot of seashells and
nice.
It was good. So, well, I do want to thank all our viewers and listeners that are a part of our community. Thank you so much for being a viewer, being a listener. If you would like to rate or review the show, you can do that. And we would love to read that on the show. We did get an email that gave us a 5-star review, just, on the email, which doesn't count for our ratings. It doesn't actually help the show, but it does let us know that people care.
It's kind.
So that's good. Yeah. That's good.
And it was 5-star.
5-star.
Because if you get an email and it's a 2-star, that's painful.
That's painful.
Yeah.
And they said they've been listening from the beginning, and they wait every week for a new episode to drop. So
Yep.
it's cool.
That's cool.
It's cool.
I had a good conversation with Raymond,
Mhm.
our faithful friend on here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he was just talking about how enjoys the pod, and we were talking about last week and some stuff and space, and yeah,
Cool.
it's always fun to hear from people.
It is, and we do appreciate you guys that are a part of that. You can also submit questions, which we would love to answer, which we are running low on. So submit questions, unedited at heightschurch.com. We do have a question
Or
coming in
you
right
can
now.
DM the beard.
Have we ever got a DM to you? No.
But
you
never got
say
a
it-
Okay,
you
there's
say
a
it like
but that's
every
a
week.
challenge.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there, you got something to do.
For those of you that don't know what a DM is, it's a direct message on social media. So go to our social media accounts and direct message us. And
Not us, the beard.
The beard, because he's in charge of that.
Because he's in charge of Heights Church. AZ on
the one?
Insta. Is that the handle?
Yeah,
Okay.
there it is. A little plug for
Yeah.
our social media.
Little
Right
social media. Actually, if you're not on it, you're missing out because
because there's great stuff on
the
there.
beard puts great stuff.
That's right. Okay, we do got a question right now coming in from Anonymous. They ask this. This is Annie Moss that's asking
Annie
this
Moss.
question. They say, I own a business and a job opportunity came up that a friend applied for. For multiple reasons, they were not selected for the position. I know it is wrong to lie. It's all throughout the Bible. However, is there ever a time when it might be okay to tell a white lie because no good would come from telling the truth and it would only hurt someone and damage a relationship by stating the facts?
Oh, man.
This is a very real life, serious, heavy one. I appreciate you submitting this question. Now, John, please give us some wisdom.
I feel this one.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times we don't think of church as a business, but there's a business side of church, right? Like it's a large organization, and anytime we post a job, which I think we have several at the moment, and somebody applies who's a friend, first of all, normally it goes like this. Hey, I heard you guys are hiring.
Yeah.
And I instantly, if you've ever done this, you're going to laugh because you're like, oh, that's what he was doing. Instantly, I remove myself as far away as I can get from it.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, yeah, I think so. You'll have to go on there and then talk to, there's an application process and go through that. I have nothing to do with it. Right. Well, at some point, inevitably, I do have something to do with it. Right. Like depending on what department and what the role is, I may just be aware of it all the way to I may be a part of the interview process. And I think in that, what's hard is you either have to say no when the person comes up to you and goes, hey, I'm thinking, I mean, you have it in youth world, right? Like, hey, I think I'm going to apply for this. And you already know. This person is not qualified for what they're asking for.
Oh, yeah.
So you have the moment to go right then and there, hey, you're not qualified. I don't think you should do that. Or you let the process run its course. Either way, you're kind of put in this awkward. And what I hear from whoever owns the business, whoever Annie Moss is, like, you've been put in that situation where you probably knew before the process, and now the process has run its course. And because it's a friend, maybe you're standing around a grill, right? Like, and I think that's what's hard is like, I've used this language kind of in my role. Like I'm a boss and a friend, right? Like, and a follower of Jesus, brother, whatever. At some point I will just be boss.
Yeah.
Right. I never get to just be friend. Like those things at some point they collide and it's hard. And so to answer the question of like, how do you know what to do? I think it depends on if the person is asking. So what I mean by that is if the person comes up to me and goes, hey, why didn't I get the job?
Right.
Then I'm going to share with them why they didn't get the job. Right. Like if I wasn't in the interview process and I go, I'm not sure, you should really ask HR. If you want a clear reason why we went one way over another, you can contact Beth and she can walk you through that. But if I've been a part of it, then I have a choice. I can either step into that moment and leverage the friendship to grow that individual. And that means then like just as much as when I get on stage, we get on stage and we're following the Holy Spirit to, speak a message. I think the same is needed in those moments to go, okay, Holy Spirit, how does this become something that iron sharpens iron? That's only going to happen if you're in it. And so then it is beginning to share with them like, hey, your qualifications, experience, they're just not enough. Or you answer questions this way and it sounded like you're not in it. It sounds like and language for us would be you're not called, right? Or, hey, when you were doing this, it rubbed some people wrong in the interview process and they don't want you. Like they said no.
Yeah.
Because of the way your personality, because of your arrogance, right? So those are really, really hard conversations.
Those are difficult conversations for sure.
But when done, I mean, the verse, the wounds of a friend, right? Like that's the choice you have. You can choose to, hey, I'm going to wound you. And I know this is going to hurt. And you can even preface it, right? I know this is putting our relationship. You're asking, so therefore I'm going to tell. And in that, I know this may cost us a friendship. And just be honest with that before you get to anything else. But then go, but what I'm hoping is this actually sharpens you and helps you for what's ahead.
Yeah. And I think that's the number one, like, if you can do this, that's the number one, like, best case scenario or but I also think without lying, there's a deflecting way to be able to say, hey, I don't really want to get into it or talk about it. Like,
which
it
didn't
is
work
also
out.
Honest. I'm sorry, but you're still being honest. It's not the lie part of it. It's not, acceptable white lies, but it is deflecting to go, hey, I don't want to get into all the details of why this didn't happen or why this didn't work out. Like, I really don't mean to hurt you. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And let's not go into it. So you're not telling them those things,
or
but you're
even
not
be
being
honest
dishonest.
and go, hey, I don't want to cross the bridge of friendship and potential employer. So I'm going to choose not to get into any of that because of our friendship.
Right.
And I would prefer to keep our friendship. And then you got to wait for the posture of the person, right? Like if the person is angry and bitter, you're not going to get very far anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. There's deflection that's not lying, that's still honest.
Yeah.
I just prefer not to go there.
Yeah. I think of when I first came on staff at Heights, our high school pastor had just left.
Mm-hmm.
And so we immediately had this opening and I literally had 4 different people. And this is a little bit of a different circumstance because I had met all these people, but I was not close friends with any of them yet because I was new. Yeah. And I had 4 different people that wanted to take me to lunch for the purpose of telling me why they should be the next high school pastor. And I had to tell every single one of them, don't apply. You're not going to get hired.
Yep.
And it was so hard because I'm like, I just want to like shy away from this. I just want to be like, well, maybe you can, or like, I don't know. I'm not in charge of hiring for this. Well, I was in charge of hiring. But I did it. And the thing is I did it knowing that all these people are probably going to be very mad at me and never speak to me again. Every single one of them within the next year came to me separately and said, hey, thanks for being honest. And thanks for not taking this, like allowing me to even take that job because it was better that I wouldn't, or I realized I'm not called to that at all or whatever. There was various reasons, but every single one of them I still talk to and know, and none of them are super mad at me. And so it ended up working, but going into it, it was one of those things where it was like, do I tell them, am I straight up honest with them with this? Or do I either deflect or even give white lies of like, I don't know, I'm not in charge of that.
Yeah.
And choosing the path that was more difficult in the moment actually paid off better in the long run.
Yeah. Well, and I think with that, if I remember right, what you did well too was the ones you could, you offered, I don't know what to call it, like not a training, but an opportunity where they could grow in things that you saw them being lacking. So if the calling is there, I want to be a part of your journey into that calling, whatever's in front of you. Right. Now, in this case, we don't know what kind of job. We don't know what level of job. We don't know if it's a career job or a filler job. Like we just don't know what it is. But I would go back to, the intent is never to hurt or cause somebody pain. Like this person for sure sounds like they're avoiding that. sometimes in the avoiding of that, you can end up hurting and harming people by saying things that either aren't true. Because when those things come to light, then the person's going to be more hurt that you just didn't tell them the truth.
Yeah.
But the way you tell the truth, I think is really, really important. I think, speaking the truth in love can be done. I think Jesus was grace and truth. Well, we have the Holy Spirit, right? And so there is a way for us to navigate some of that. And then the only other caveat I would throw in there, you can't control somebody else's maturity level.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody who is immature, maybe have wounds from past employers, you're not going to control the way they react. And so if you get put in a spot where being honest is what you feel you're supposed to do, and in that person reacts and walks away,
mm-hmm.
you still know you did the right thing, right? Like at the end of the day, you have to be able to sleep when you put your head on the pillow, right? And what the other person chooses to do and how they choose to do it and how they respond, and whatever their maturity is not they've got to walk that before the Lord.
Right.
And sometimes I think I try too often to help their response. And what I actually do is let them sit in their immaturity longer than I should have.
Right.
So it's a tough, it's
a very difficult one. I don't envy the situation that you're in with this question. So thank you for submitting and asking that. I think just to the core of this question, is it ever okay to tell lies? Like, no, you said it, all throughout the Bible, it is wrong. And we know that, and we have our own integrity to stand on. Now, can you bend those integrity to soften a blow? Sure, you can, but you're bending your integrity. Yeah. Like, yes, it can be done, but man, that's integrity means doing the right thing even when no one's looking, or even when it's harder to do the right thing. Yeah. And I would just.
And at the end of the day, do you want somebody to come back and go, or speak to others and go, man, that guy just told me, or that lady told me exactly how it was, and man, it hurt. And I haven't been able to talk to them or do you want them to go away and go, yeah, I found out they lied to me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, one, uphold your integrity, like you're saying, and one, uphold your character and your testimony, even though it's caused harm, which you never intended, versus the other one, it makes you look like you don't have integrity and your character's lacking. And I just think we're called to always before the Lord live righteously, and He will protect the righteous.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, hopefully that helps with that. Again, very difficult decision, but thank you for submitting a very personal, real life question for us.
Love how real it is.
John, we had another incredible celebration weekend. More people getting baptized.
So it was so good.
Dude, so good.
Dude, there was one moment where I think it was the 11:15. So I think the guy's name was Frank. I don't remember. Got in the tub, and he's a big dude. You can tell this guy has taken care of his arms, if you know what I mean. And he gets done, and he's like arms in the air, and it's just like gun show, but he's not thinking that, obviously. That's just like what I'm noticing, right? And he's so excited, celebrating. People are so excited for him. And then following him is this little girl. I don't know how old she was. Tiny, right? Gets in there, and Jordan did so well with it. Jordan's so gifted at that, and walking her through the questions, and it was just, for me, watching the church and go, you got Frank followed by this elementary school girl, and then followed by a family. Like, in our own life, the lady Cindy's walking with, in discipleship, she got to be there to watch her get baptized, and her husband got baptized. And so it's like this whole family is changing. Lee's walking with the husband, Cindy's walking with the wife. And it's just this really cool, like, what God's doing in our community. And it's a good cross section and reference of like, what our church family looks like and what it should look like, and God changing lives at all stages. I think that's probably the for me was the highlight, just watching the difference in people.
Well, in every service too, to just see different people.
Yeah.
Like you said, different stages of life, different things going on, but like life change in all of those,
So much emotion this weekend. I mean, maybe the beard, he's there capturing pictures of everybody, but just the amount of tears of people getting baptized, like you could see how much it meant to them to take a step of faith. That was really, for me, was really moving, because sometimes baptism can feel, it always feels like a celebration, but sometimes it feels like, the person's just doing it to do it type thing. It didn't feel that way. This weekend felt like there was such emotion of the people. It really meant something significant to them.
So good.
And then the youth, let's celebrate the youth, 9:30. I mean, didn't matter who it was. They're going to stand up and cheer.
They got the party going.
So good. Front 2 rows, instantly up, cheering. And again, just feels like family, right?
So much celebration. Let me ask you this, though. Did you have feelings of celebration when you saw Pastor Bob's shirt?
Oh, my gosh.
That he wore this weekend.
I had feelings of something, especially when he called me Ellen DeGeneres.
He did, dude. So, okay, if you have not watched the service, just watch the intro of Pastor
Somebody just
Bob's
goes, "Oh,
service.
he did you dirty."
Oh, man.
Yeah. I can't believe he committed to it. Okay, kudos to him. Like, it wasn't like he did it and then took it off and had another shirt under. No.
Oh, yeah, no, he wore it the
He
whole time.
sold the whole time.
He's been sitting on that shirt for like a year. And
longer.
2 years.
Yeah.
And he said he was going to wear it when he preached one time. And I was like, oh, okay. And he did it.
Yeah.
So
I had a heads up. I walked in the back room because I ended up producing Prescott. So I walked in the back room and it was hanging up. And he's like, I'm going to wear it. And I made a joke about myself. I'm like, in the picture, it looks like my hair looks like our cockatiel at home. So I was like, oh. But yeah, I didn't see Ellen coming. So
that's pretty good. One of the things that Pastor,
or that he goes, this is what he's making us do. Okay. Like, anybody who knows Bob can't make Bob do anything.
Right. Well, I never got a shirt, so I'm kind of upset.
Well, you can borrow his. He'll let you.
I know. One of the things he talked about this weekend is people in relationships are what matter most. If that is true, then how do we live like that's true in our lives?
Yeah, I think it was such a good throwback to the Just Camping collection where, when you boil down, because of sin, and I think we have to be really clear on that, because prior to sin, leaving the planet's not an option. Obviously, sin and death and rescue and all of that, now leaving the planet is what we do, right? Into the intermediate state that we talked about in Just Camping. So I say all that to say there is a really important caveat we have to remember, is that when we leave this planet, the only thing we take is people. And I think Bob did a great job connecting that. Well, that, to your question then, how do you live? You have to hold that. Is that true? Right? Because if it's not true, if I go, no, that's not all I can take. I can take this, this, and this, and this, right? Like, I can take my good works. I can take any good works you do are going to be towards people, right? The idea of love God, love people, that sums it up. So I think I have to hold what's true. I don't know if you can hear Todd, but Todd is hacking
up a lung over here.
It's all the dust.
I know.
So yeah, I would say it all comes down to perspective. If you're going to live like it's true, then I have to hold that is my view of what is true from the scripture. And when I hold that as true, then I have to analyze, kind of like, if that is the thing, then that is the only thing of investment that's going to last.
Yeah. I think for me, it's thinking through how I'm treating people.
Yeah.
I think a big thing personally is just like, there's a lot of times where I walk past people and either don't see them, don't stop for them, or rush past the thing that matters most. If that matters most and people are relationships, then that's worth more of my time than the things that I want to put my time into.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying, you don't show up for work or you don't do the things that you need to do. But I'm just saying, for me, it's reminding myself like, this matters.
Yeah.
This conversation matters. This is worth me taking time for, because it's investing in relationships. It's investing in people.
When it goes to everything, right? Like if you show up to a job and you have the privilege of building a job that's changing the future for somebody, right? Like let's take the businessman from the first question. If the businessman is building a business for the betterment of people, like he's treating them fairly, it's a good place to work. It has care of people before, and the business is a way to do that. Then as he scales that business, right, he's actually building into eternity because he's creating a space where people are going to be cared for, valued, and walk through in a way that's going to betterment for their life. So there is a way that the mundane of every day gets put through the lens of people. It doesn't mean that the businessman goes, wow, I'm not going to grow my business anymore. I'm just going to go sit with whoever. Well, no, growing your business is actually caring for the betterment of people. I mean, one of the things we face as a church, how we hold benefits and why we hold benefits and what we're trying to do, all of those reflect our care of people and what we value in people, right? And we've been trying to change that culture over the last, especially 3 years, of going, how do we grow as an organization that this place is known as, wow, you want to work there. Right. And the things that God pushes towards us as values of what it looks like to love people well, I think can flow into the business space equally, right? Like go to the home front. The way I treat my kids, the way I walk with my kids, either say that they're valuable or they're not.
Right.
And I think to your point, then that's the lens that we're looking through. So doing homework with my daughter, yes, it's just homework and it's about grades, but it can be about so much more.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And I think using what God has given you, we've talked about that a lot. I was not expecting to go here, but personally, what's going on in my life recently is my dad passed away just last about a week and a half ago. And just reflecting on his life and the things that I can take from his life is he lived like people and relationships mattered most. And he treated people that way. So even in the grocery store, it used to annoy me so much when I was a kid is he would talk to the person in front of us or the person behind us. He never knew a stranger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dad, they don't care. We don't care. Like, why are we doing this? And just reflecting, it's because he knew that relationships and people mattered most. And he worked construction. That's what he did his whole life. But there was often times where he'd show up, he'd come home late from work and we're like, where were you? It's because he went to go build a ramp for somebody so that they could, just recently got in a wheelchair. And then he built a ramp so they could make it in their house. He used what God gave him to care for people. And that was the main thing. That was always the main thing. Dad, why are we going to be late to this, whatever it is? Well, because I stopped to help the person change their tire because they needed help. And so it was always like, man, I'm here to help people. I'm how to do this. I'm here to use the things God has given me through the lens of people and relationships matter most. And so for me, I think that's just a perspective shift. Not really a shift, but a good reminder for me of continuing to go, people matter most. And so in whatever it is I'm doing, I want to be that light. And it's been super cool over the last week and a half to just hear what people have said of memories of my dad well, he always made me feel special, or he always cared for me, or he always had encouraging words, or he always, did these things to show how much he loved people, but it was always to point people to Jesus. And so, for me, this question is like, do the way that you live really does either point people to Jesus because you treat them like they matter, or it points people away because you aren't treating them like they matter.
Yeah. It reminds me, well, first of all, thanks. I mean, you didn't have to go there. And I know it's still
real fresh.
Still real fresh. And you've been walking through it ever since. And so it's a lot to carry in here. And I think, that people say it about the dumbest stuff, but like, I don't know, the word goofball, if you look it up in the dictionary, it's this person, right? It sounds like what you just said to the answer to this question, like, how do you live like that's true? The picture that comes to mind is your dad.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't in the grandiose building a platform or making himself known, or like, who's ever going to see him in the grocery store, right? Like only you.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, it marked you, but that's not why he was talking to the person in the grocery store. It's because the person really mattered.
Yep.
And I think that's the takeaway for this. And I think that's what Bob was getting at. Like, I mean, Bob's vulnerability, a lot of people probably don't get to see this piece of Bob, but when he stands on stage, I've listened to Bob speak for probably 17 years. Bob has an uncanny way. It hit me this weekend, an uncanny way of, if he is going to give an example, he will give himself first. And then he will challenge out of that. So like this weekend, anyone who knows Bob, you go, Bob, you're one of the most relational people I know. Like I'm learning for 17 years how to be more relational through being around Bob, right? And yet he stands there and he goes, what's hit him in the face is the only thing you can take off the planet is people. So how am I really doing with that?
Yeah.
I don't think I love people the way I should. I don't. And the rest of us are like going,
well, if he's not doing it,
yeah,
I got
like,
no chance.
What hope is there for me who's trying to learn from him, you know?
Yeah.
But I think like, I love that about Bob is just the vulnerability to go, no, I'm wrestling with this because I think there's some things that I've got to change to grow. And I think even you talking about your dad, that's how it feels, right? Like the reminder is, man, I got some growth to do towards this part of who he was.
And as Bob continued in the message yesterday, he also had Tim join him. Yeah. Tim went on the trip to the Dominican with him, and they were able to talk about just the impact that they had in the Dominican, specifically about their story and how they were able to share their story. Right? In the church world, we call it testimony, but they were able to share their story to impact others. Like, how can we use our story to impact others? Because I think it's directly correlated to what we were just talking about, how people and relationships matter most. And I think it's a really strong tool that we have to love people well is by sharing our story. So how would we go about doing that?
Yeah, I think a couple of things come to mind. First one is the way he talked about Jackson yesterday and sharing the backstory to Jackson. Because if you would have met Jackson when he first showed up at Heights, it was the pink hair. It was, you're like, who is this kid type thing? And to see what God has done with Jackson's life and to see the faithfulness of people pouring into Jackson met by the, leading of the Holy Spirit and God's transformed him.
Yeah.
And so then for him to go to the DR and share that story and then that be the catalyst for people to come forward, to meet Jesus for the first time, some to come forward and just share their pain.
Right.
And for the team to be able to meet them in that pain, even if they don't meet Jesus, the team got back to the first question. The team got to live love, right? To these kids that are going, hey, I relate to Jackson. I feel that. And so I just think there was such a practical how to use your story is you got to tell it, right? Like Jackson, if Jackson never tells his story, it doesn't matter how good his story is. And for me, so the second part to that is I just think God's bringing something as a church around, we were told you will be my witnesses. Well, witnesses tell stories, right? Like they tell what they've seen, they tell what they've experienced, they tell what they, and in our case, the transformation that's happened to us. So the idea of what God told us to do is go be storytellers. And so in that, I think we minimize our own, and you even heard it with Tim. Tim's like, man, Angie got up there and told her story, and I was supposed to tell my testimony after hers. What am I going to say? I grew up in a Christian,
yeah.
And I think the beauty is all of the story. God knew that when he told them to be witnesses. You look at the disciples, they were from all different backgrounds, all different stories, all different wealth levels, like very, very different regions. And in that, no, go tell your story because it's unique to you, and God's going to use that voice for somebody else. And so I think probably the biggest thing is you got to tell it, and you got to, and then go back to Just Camping. That's living on mission, right? Is when we tell our story.
Yeah, that's super good. Super exciting weekend with Celebration Weekend, which the idea of celebration in itself is we're telling of what God has done. We're telling our story, right? It's not just, it doesn't always have to be a testimony. It can be just a story of what God has done that week in your life, which is super cool that we got to do that. We have one more question for us. This question comes in from Craig, and it correlates to what we talked about with people and relationships as well. So kind of cool there. Craig, thanks for submitting this. It says, I have someone in my life who is constantly difficult, negative, and sometimes hurtful. I know I'm called to love them and I'm trying my best, but I'm feeling the bitterness creep in. How do I continue to love them well without becoming bitter?
Craig, you have one of those too, huh?
Right. I think we all do.
Super relatable. Yeah. I think the difficult, just so we're clear, difficult, negative, and sometimes hurtful. Mm-hmm. I think you take the sometimes out and probably often hurtful, right? Yeah. You are called to love them. That doesn't change. That doesn't go away. Mm-hmm. However, you are called to do, I think one of the dangers maybe of the word love is we think love doesn't have boundaries. I'm actually reading a book right now that my counselor recommended to me. And it's When to Walk Away. Mm. And it's the idea of, it's built out of the fact that Jesus had boundaries and Jesus walked away. Mm. And so if Jesus walked away, why do we think we have to stay?
Yeah.
And so it kind of builds from there, like into different areas of relationships. But that's the basic premise is, and I would say to the question then, you're trying your best, but you're feeling bitterness creep in.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to have to ask the question, is this a toxic person?
Yeah.
Am I trying to love a person who is at the point where their own toxicity, maturity, and where they are, it's now becoming toxic to me and other circles in my life, right? Because if bitterness is creeping in, it's going to creep into other parts that are healthy in your life. It's not going to limit itself to just this relationship. And so what I would say is, first of all, you've got to decide what level of bitterness am I actually at? Because there's bitterness where it's like, it just keeps coming back and I just need to deal with it with the Lord and I need to hold it in that space. I need to release it. But normally with bitterness, there's unforgiveness. And so what am I actually holding? What area of the difficult, negative, or hurtful am I holding on to and actually not forgiving? Because you may need to go back there and go, I'm going to choose to release this. But if you can't be in that relationship without getting to the point where you're just constantly going back because of unforgiveness, then it may be time to look at that relationship and go, I need to put some distance between this.
Yeah, I would say, this even that asking this question is very self-aware.
Oh,
like
for sure.
I can feel some bitterness creep in. So I don't know I don't know if this answer specifically speaks to that, but I think evaluating the bitterness of going, is it because I don't have the right boundaries like you just talked about, or is it a me issue? Mm-hmm. I had a roommate in college that annoyed the heck out of me. I don't know how else to say it. They were just the most annoying person on the planet. And it started to become not just
roommates
annoyance.
Tend to be that way.
It not become not just annoyance, but turned into bitterness, and bitterness turned into hate. And I was unaware of this to where every time I would call my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, and would just be telling her stories, it was like I would talk to her for 20 minutes and only vent about this person. And she was like, I called to talk to you and you just got taken over. She's like, you need to deal with your bitterness. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not bitter. I don't know what you're talking about. And then I started like having these self-reflection moments to go like, man, the bitterness has taken over. And like enough so that I didn't even talk to my girlfriend on the phone. I just vented to her about something that it's ridiculous. So I think there needs to be a distinction made between, in your own heart of going, hey, am I feeling these things because of the boundaries that need to be put in place that could separate me enough to where the bitterness wouldn't be there and I could love them from the distance that's appropriate? Or is it hey, I really need to deal with the bitterness in me. And yes, they're annoying. Yes, they're difficult. They're negative. They're hurtful. They're whatever. But man, my heart isn't in the right place when I deal with them. And I would say that, even asking this question is a very self-aware perspective to be in. But I think that the evaluation of what that situation actually is helpful in moving forward on it too.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's really good. And just, I think listening to you talk about that, where my kind of processing goes to is what areas is it hitting and why?
Mm-hmm.
So if I use my own journey, it's not been an easy road living at Heights. There's seasons of good, and we happen to be in one of those right now, but there's been in seasons of hard. And in the seasons of hard, what I never realized is my actions that were happening to people around me were happening because of hurt that had created bitterness, fear, maybe unforgiveness. And the response was, I'm pushing people away. And through counseling, what I came to realize is that's actually not due to this situation. It's something that happened when I was 8 years old. So going and doing the work for me. So in this case, and I don't know if it is this, I could be totally projecting, but for Craig, if bitterness is creeping in and you're having a certain response to that, maybe this is God actually calling you to go do the work to figure out. And if this is a pattern, right? Because he's totally self-aware to see it. I mean, my language of going to counseling was, I'm going to bleed on somebody. I can't bleed at home and I can't bleed on the staff. So I'm going to go somewhere where I can bleed and somebody can help bandage this up and figure out where the wound even came from. And I remember sitting down, it's so funny. I sat down with my counselor and I went, because the classic question is, well, why are you here? And I'm like, well, I'm not here for my family. My family's great. And, and went through this whole, I got nothing there at all. And it wasn't until a year and a half later of dealing with the stuff that we could see in the present that I realized, oh, this goes all the way back to here. Like Elizabeth helped me see that. And so I just think for Craig, it could be also that God's making you aware of something because he wants to grow you.
Right.
And not minimizing and excusing this other person's behavior, but also going, God, is this something you want to use in my life to take me to do some work that I haven't done?
Right.
I'm still going to counseling.
Yeah.
To help become more and more self-aware and hopefully a healthier dad, healthier husband, healthier friend, healthier leader, healthier whatever, right? Teammate.
Well, Craig, hopefully that helps answer that question. Again, difficult situation, but thanks for your vulnerability in asking the question. If you have a question that you would like for us to answer on the podcast, you can submit that at unedited@heightschurch.com, and we'd love to answer your question on the show as well.
A lot smoother than last week.
A lot smoother than last week. I've done it a few more times.
Yeah.
If you've made it this far, you're part of the End of the Podcast Club. And we love you guys so much. So thank you so much for being a part of the End of the Podcast Club. You can rate and review the show. We would love to get your 5-star rating and read the review to everybody. So don't forget to subscribe and
smash that like button.
There we go. Final thought I have for you today is this: the things that matter most in life are people and relationships. How does your story help influence the people around you and point them to Jesus? Take time today to do something for the people around you and show them a little extra love. Love you guys.
Love you.